Welcome to another episode of URC Chumps podcast. We into round 3, going into 4 this weekend. It is boiling down. We've had some exciting results. Hey, and Tim managed to join via his phone. He was having some problems. We just started the intro, so it's all good, buddy. But as you can see, I've got Dara and I've got Tim, who's mobile today, not as static from his laptop. But yes, let's start off with Dara. How you doing, bud?
Good. Feels good to be joint top of the league cards. It feels bloody good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely does. And Tim, our mobile resident German, how's it going?
Good, my man. Very, very good. Enjoyed the
Yeah,
rugby on the weekend. Good all around.
yes, absolutely awesome. My wife was a little bit annoyed. I got home a little bit late after watching the rugby while drinking some beers with some friends. Second nil for the week, for the tournament. But let's get into those, and we can actually have a closer look at the results regarding those. Yeah. So yes,
Yeah.
let's get into it. Dora, you know what? You being the most northern person, and according to this one, number one of the, tell us what you thought about this.
Oh, this game put a strain on my blood pressure, that's for sure.
You're a bit young for that.
Oh, you support Spurs for 17 years, and it does.
Or, or,
You
or,
guys'
or
blood
come to
pressure of a
or come
90
to
year old.
Germany for one night and then come out with me. It's the same thing.
Uh, Yeah, I don't know how we won that game. I actually cannot. I watched the game back in its entirety. I do not know how we won the game. Got bullied in the scrum. Defensively, we were okay, but like our line out was a shambles. Our scrum was a shambles. We kept knocking the ball on. We kept giving Edinburgh back the ball by the breakdown. The only thing we did better than Edinburgh is we didn't lose our discipline, and Edinburgh's discipline was the worst I've seen in this league for a long time. Four yellows, could have had another for tackle off the ball. It was shocking how bad their discipline was. I thought their captain could have got sent off for that crock roll. I thought it was a red. But generally, yeah, their discipline was absolutely atrocious. Individual errors, I thought Darcy Graham had one of the worst games I've ever seen him play, which is unusual. He still scored a try, but he was poor. And yeah, as I said, Edinburgh completely threw it away. They had the game in their hand. Munster were awful, and they just
Yeah.
snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, really, Edinburgh, and handed Munster the game. Munster's bench made a good impact. Coughlin, Butler, two young halfbacks coming on made the difference. Idogo, great seeing him back, hasn't played a match in 22 months. So he was a big help. Brian Gleeson back, but just in general, take 5 points and run, because if we play like that again this weekend, we're going to get annihilated. So I'll just take the five and just hopefully improve.
Yeah. But I mean, I was kind of watching it on my phone while watching it where I was. Yeah, there was a few, that croc roll, that was a bit of a harsh croc roll. It made the one that happened in the Stormers game look like a
Yeah, but
slaughter.
you see, curves. It mightn't be the worst crock roll in the world, but the way Barron's leg goes, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that to me looked extremely close to some sort of ligament tearing
No,
in his
I'm
knee, the
agreeing
way
with
his
you.
knee jolted.
No,
So you
that's what
have
I'm
to
saying
punish
is
it.
that one was bad. The one that Dixon did was like soft. It was child's play, and Dixon got a yellow card for that, which I thought was maybe a bit harsh because there wasn't really any malicious intent and stuff. But of course, straight review as well. But I do think, like you said, Munster got lucky winning. When I was looking at the score, I saw it was more on Edinburgh side, and I was like, I'm surprised you haven't started losing your mind on the group yet. Uh, luckily, it
That's because
came
I was
out in
at the
your.
game. It was because I was at the game, and to be honest, I can give a bit of insight because where I go to in Musgrave is near the coach's box, and Sean Everett at full time lost his mind up in that coach's box. I mean, he started throwing papers. He started yelling at everyone inside the coach's box. There was meltdown inside in the Edinburgh coaching box after full time because, as I said, they just completely threw that game away. They threw away. They got a point out of it. They should have got four more, especially with how poor Munster's starting halfbacks were and how bad Hanrahan was on the night in terms of kicking. Yeah, as I said, there's no
Yeah.
excuse for it from their point of view to throw away.
But then moving a little bit south and to the east was Scarlets hosting Stormers. Stormers off to a fantastic start. I do think we left a bit behind. It could have been a lot worse. I do think at the same time we were lucky to nil them. Awesome, it's the second time this season. It was the first of three this weekend. Um, and it was the only away team to win as well, which awesome for us. But I mean, I was watching the game. Like I said, that yellow card that Dixon got was that was harsh. Tane Plumtree, in my opinion, was also lucky to stay on that field with that reaction to Roos. Roos's try was awesome. The fact that now he's got a shiner from that. I do honestly think he is putting up his hand for Springbok call up now coming up in November because he is playing phenomenally. He's aggressive, but not to the point where he's giving away penalties and everything.
But he's still
Uh,
acting like a moron.
uh,
He's
he's a,
still shoving guys and he's still, taunting people when he scores. And I don't think that falls into the Springbok ethos. And I think that's the reason he's not getting picked, not because of his play, it's because of his attitude. And I think he's proven exactly why he's not getting picked again. Again, he's a good player, but he reminds me of a Luke Watson. Great player, but a shocking attitude.
mm,
My opinion. Unpopular, I know, but
yeah. Listen, but like I said, he is definitely putting up his hand. He has pulled
he's
it
playing
back
good
a lot.
rugby. But I mean, if
He's
you
played
could
no, but
lose
he's pulled
the
his attitude.
confidence.
Yeah, but his attitude's also been pulled back a lot more. But we'll cover that a little bit more in discussion regarding an injury that came out of the Stormers thing. But still, like I said, I think Sasha as well was a little bit. I think he was feeding off the whole thing. There was an incident with Sasha as well,
Yeah.
which was a bit embarrassing for someone at his
Oh,
caliber.
that was funny for me because obviously being a back row and you hate number 10s, that was the 10 needs to realize he's not one of the big boys. Gets involved with Plumtree, and then the next phase he slaps his hand over the ruck, gets the yellow card. But in terms of Sasha, aside from that, I mean, in the battle of South African tens this weekend, we'll cover Pollard a bit later, but I mean, I know it's a lot easier when he's behind such a dominant pack compared to the Scarlets. He was unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Um,
Uh,
ran everything, didn't give the Scarlets backs any time to react to what he was doing. Just as I said, I know it's easier when you're behind a pack that's so dominant and churning out penalties and are just driving the Scarlets back, but he was awesome. The Stormers' backs were awesome as a collective. And what I'd like to say is the Stormers' backs are throwing less stupid passes this year, it seems to me. Less just wonder balls, less running up
They're a
blind alleys. There's
lot
a
more
lot more structure.
controlled. I agree with that.
that
They're a lot more
person,
controlled in the way they're offloading and when they're offloading. They've been a
that
lot more
person's
patient
back.
in 22. Yeah, so in
That
the red
person's
zone in
back.
22, they really are sort of being patient and they're going to the phases and then they're using their backs to expose them out wide. So they really are doing everything quite nicely at the moment. I was quite enjoyed the game on Saturday. I did think there was at times they sort of were, I don't know, not at full gear, but all around they had a good game.
Yeah. I mean, also what you need to realize is we lost the forward and replaced him with the back line due to Dion Ferree's injury, which was unlucky. But yeah, like I still said, I think we got a little bit lucky the fact that we nailed them, but it was still a great result for us. The fact that now it's put us back on top of the log. And I mean, we've only given away 10 points basically this whole season in 3 games, which is fantastic on a stat point of view. But yeah,
Yeah, well, Curbs as well. I suppose the point is Stormers now will be looking to top the table going into the November internationals because two away games in Italy. If you win in Zebra, if you win in Parma this weekend, you expect to kind of be top going into the final round because you expect Munster to lose this weekend. So, that would be a massive morale boost for the Stormers if they can top the table going into the November internationals and be at least 5 from 6, if not 6 from 6. It'd be a brilliant start for them.
yeah. But then moving over to Italy, Benetton hosted the Lions where they mauled the Lions. They kept them quite quiet. 41-15. Lions look like they are really struggling. The point that we brought up last week, Tim, I see it's all over social media. I did put that screenshot in the group, and it's on one of the slides later on, which we can have a quick discussion about more depth. But yeah, it looks like there is a lot of SOS calls being thrown in from people to the management and everything. But then moving on, Ospreys,
But
what
I
I've
was
been
just going to say about that game, from a Benetton point of view, that back three of Mendy, Smith, and Lina is
Yeah.
the three of them. The three of them are unbelievable. They're so quick. And the Lions genuinely just have the kick about them of a team that cannot wait to go back to Johannesburg. They just look like a team that weren't bothered to be there, just wanted
yeah
to get past that game and go home. That's genuinely the vibe I got off watching the Lions in that game. They just
yeah
looked like a team that weren't half bothered to be there. And Benetton did look like a team that wanted every minute of the scrap there. So that's really the difference in that game.
yeah. But then, like I said, moving on, Ospreys. What I've been waiting for Ospreys to do, they look like they had a lot better of a game. 24 nip zip against Zebra, the second one of the weekend. They looked a lot better. They looked a lot more controlled and everything. I still think there's a lot more to come with them. Hopefully, the Wales Rugby Union debacle doesn't affect them too much going into the rest of the.
Yeah, but Curbs, in fairness to them, it's hard to judge a team like the Ospreys when they go away to South Africa in their first 2 games. They're always expected to lose those 2 games anyway. And they put up quite a good fight in both of their matches. So I think that's nearly that they've been happy with that.
Yeah,
And yeah, the Zebra were on form coming into this game, and the Ospreys just looked very comfortable. Did not look like ever they were going to lose the game. Didn't look like they were ever going to be really challenged in the game. Maybe you could say a word that their attack they had a lot more chances. They should have got a bonus point, but in a general sense, you cannot complain if you nil someone,
yeah,
and you cannot complain if you win a game by 24 points. So I'm sure the Ospreys will be delighted.
yeah.
For sure.
I totally agree with that. Then Glasgow nilling Dragons. Looks like Dragons are back to being the whipping boys again. And below Leinster again on the logs. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean that game genuinely was a walk in the park. Glasgow, it's one of those games where Glasgow, and we all know Glasgow's a team of forward dominance. Their forwards barely touched the ball. Their backs were unbelievable. It's just a case of they decided that the Dragons was a game that they knew they were going to win. So why not try out all these moves, all these training ground moves, and see if they come off? They tried them all out. Most of them came off. They scored some beautiful tries. And yeah, as I said, Glasgow just looked so comfortable. I mean, the Dragons didn't lay a glove on them. Um, Glasgow will be kicking themselves that they're not 3 from 3, to be honest, because I don't know, they're probably still ruining that game against Treviso. But I mean,
Yeah.
Again, it's Scotstoun. It's
Yeah.
Scotstoun. It's always a hard place to win. The Dragons were never going to win up there. And as I say, Glasgow went in with kind of air of cockiness, the kind of good cockiness of like, all right, let's go out and play rugby. Let's go out and try all these moves. And yeah, as I said, more of them came off than they didn't. And they scored some brilliant tries and played some brilliant rugby out of it. Some
Yeah.
good watch. I enjoyed.
But I mean, that was great. One game that pretty much we weren't too happy about from a South African point of view, but apparently coming back to the Shark Tank, they're very excited to have their full strength team back. Being the Sharks, who went to Leinster and went down 31-5. The Sharks didn't even look like they were in the game.
That
No,
was
it's
the most pathetic I've seen of a rugby side in a very long time. They were shocked. They were absolutely abysmal.
I'd say as well that like Leinster didn't get out of second gear in this game. Leinster,
No, they cruised. They were in. They looked like Usain Bolt in the qualifying. You know what I mean? When he jogs next to those.
yeah,
It's
because it's a case of Leinster were, as I said, Leinster were cruising. The Sharks, like the line, looked like a team that just didn't look like they wanted to be there, and they did a good enough side out to put the fight. Obviously, they didn't have their first team out, but look at some of the names they had
no,
out
man. They're still
and on
on
the bench.
paper. They're still a quality unit. They should
Yeah.
not
I
be.
mean,
They should not be being whipped like that. There's no ways.
yeah, the Shuka brothers, Hendricks, Ethan Hooker, they Mbanambi on the bench, they Vincent Koch on the bench. They'd
By the
seasoned
way,
internationals on the
Hendrick,
bench that looked like they weren't bothered. And Hendricks that was awful.
Jaden, not yeah. Is it Jaden Hendricks, the scrum off?
Yeah, Jaden.
He was absolutely pathetic. Yo, he
I
was
enjoyed
appalling.
every minute of his downfall. Every single minute of his downfall
Man,
will be
he was
enjoyed by me.
poor. He was poor. I haven't
He's so
seen a
slow
scrum off
as
play
well.
that badly in a while.
But I mean, he's so slow as well. And the problem is with a team like Leinster, you can't give them time to set up. You kind of need to
No.
keep it flowing to a point. To a point, like you need to be able to run and then get them to a point where they want to break off. But if you're going to let them sit there, catch their breath, then they're going to just keep pushing you right back. And that's what I saw. And yeah,
Yeah, curves. Like it's a case of if you play slow ball and then try to play the ball out wide against the blitz defense, you might as well go home. And that's what the Sharks spent on 80 minutes doing slow ball and chuck it out to the backs. And as I said, you're giving the Leinster players time to blitz up on them, which is a Leinster blitz defense, which is what they do,
yeah,
and just smash them back all game, win a rake of intercepts, a load of drop balls that led to Leinster chances by them just picking it up and running. It, as I said, they made Leinster in second gear look like Leinster in fifth or sixth gear. It was embarrassing. The Sharks were terrible.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing. It was
right.
really.
But I mean, talking about embarrassing, it's probably not the reunion he wanted, but Ulster beating the Bulls 28-7 from a Bulls that looked very dominant in South Africa. Unfortunately, the defense didn't hold up when they went away on the road. And
Yeah, as I said this after round one. You can't keep defending like that. It'll
yeah,
come back to bite you. And they
and
came
that's
up
what
against a side like Ulster that were unbelievable in defence and looked more than happy to defend all night. And they gave away four tries. They had so much of the ball, so much of it in good positions. Ulster
Yeah.
kept holding them out. And the second the Bulls got a stupid yellow card, Ulster just flicked the switch like that, scored three fairly easy tries, and just held on for the rest of the game. Ulster, my performance of the week, unbelievable in every aspect of the game. Bulls, yeah.
Dara, you're gonna roll your eyes at me. It was the Cape Town boy that actually really put up his hand in that game as well. Augustus Rocky. I mean, he's also putting up
Augustus
his
was
hand.
great.
Yeah, he's putting up
Augustus
his
was
hand.
great. I think him, McNabney, and McCann were fantastic in the Ulster back row. Ian Henderson rolled back the years as well. He was brilliant. And the Ulster back three of Badacoon, Stockdale, and Zach Ward, they're so good. If they can keep fit, because the three of them are very injury prone, but when the three of them are fit and firing, they're very hard to stop because they're all very quick. They're all big. For wingers, they're all quite big, and they really showed it. They really stuck it to the Bulls. I thought the Bulls lost their heads as well when they couldn't score. They were trying stupid stuff towards the end that was never going to come off. They were trying Hail Marys at some points. And yeah, when you see players like, I thought LaRue just completely lost his head. He just started whinging over tiny, minute things and throwing mad passes. And Pollard was anonymous as well. And if you keep Pollard quiet, it looks like if you can keep Pollard quiet in these big games, the Bulls don't really have many other answers.
Yeah. I mean, I will be honest, Stockdale looked a bit sluggish as well this past or in this game. He had a great game, but he just looks sluggish to his usual self. But I
Yes, but he's
mean,
been out injured for 4 months, so you can understand that.
yeah. No, I mean, in all respect, yes. That's why I just said he looked a little bit sluggish this week, and I'm not saying it's going to be him the rest of the season. But I mean, the wingers, he was sluggish. He managed to get it off to the wingers. The wingers then pushed it up fast. That Ulster team just looked basically world class when it came to
I would say this about Richie Murphy is last year when he was doubted by all the Ulster fans. I said it, give him time. He's a top class coach. He's gonna bring them places because he did it with the Ireland under-20s and nobody else can since he left. That's the start of this. Ulster, maybe not this year, next year will be serious contenders to win URCs. But I was saying that if they play like that every week, they are going to be serious contenders this year to win it because that's the Bulls, near enough the Bulls' best side, and Ulster just wiped them.
Yeah, but then moving on, Cardiff beating Connacht in Pro was probably one of the, besides the first game, the first and the last game were pretty much close games this weekend. Cardiff coming off 14-8 win over Connacht there. But now that only leaves three teams undefeated, one South African, two Irish. One being your team, Dara, the other one being Ulster, and the last one, who's on top of the log right now, is our team, Stormers, who 3 out of 3 right now. Ulster, of course, is down at 5th because they do have a game in hand due to the weather conditions. I haven't heard anything of when those games are meant to be played, but
probably during the Six Nations.
Yeah,
probably during the Six Nations. The interesting teams there, I would note, is Cardiff have had a great start to the season. 2 wins against good opposition and nearly beat us at Thomond. Leinster just but that'll change as we all know. And the Lions and the Scarlets, the battle of the bottom this weekend in Johannesburg.
The Dragons have 2 losing bonus points, which does put them up at 14th.
No, they just drew. They just drew with the Sharks.
Oh yeah,
remember?
Right. Yeah, but sorry, my bad. Yeah, and the one losing point. I mean, yeah, but I mean, the Sharks are pretty much on par with them as well. So I mean, there's nothing really to write home about there.
Yeah, but the Sharks have been terrible, so that's understandable.
Yeah. But I mean, Leinster's obviously now waking up. I mean, as they said, they've already lost as many games as they did last season. But yeah, I mean, we're going through. Zebra is sitting at 8th right now, and I think they pretty much are going to want to try hold on to that position. I do see the log changing quite a bit. Like I have said, and this is just due to superstitions. I do want the Stormers to drop down at some point because who's ever at first never wins the the tournament.
They did last year.
Yeah.
They did last year.
They did last year. They broke the curse last year. And quite frankly, if you're not first, you're the first loser.
I would like to be second or third right now, to be honest. Go home, semis and everything. But we'll see what happens later on.
I'd rather go watch the final in Cape Town than go watch it in Ireland.
To be fair, we all know the Stormers battle finals at Cape Town when the big boys come down to play. So
No, take that
Listen,
back.
when your team knows what a World Cup looks like, you can talk about unbottling
We're
things.
on about club rugby. We're on about club rugby. We're not on about internationals. We're on about
Oh,
club
oh,
rugby.
just to speak into sorry. I have to just tell you something, Dara, bro. I'm getting you a present for when you come to Germany. So my friend's got a 3D maker, and he's making you miniature World Cup replica because it's the closest you're ever gonna get to one.
Yes.
You and John Glenn will have something in common, holding a World Cup.
Be the first Munster. I'll be the only second player to. I'll be only the second Munster man to ever hold a World Cup.
And,
Yeah,
But
and the
unless you
first
count
true Irishman.
Dougie Howlett,
and
unless you count
we're
Dougie
gonna take a
Howlett,
photo. You'll be drinking out of it the night we go out. Yeah.
And then you can sing what you call a Rashi song. I woke up this morning a
can be.
champion. But yes,
Sorry,
uh,
boy.
but going into this weekend, it's bangers again after bangers. Um, Starting off this weekend with Edinburgh hosting uh
Visa.
Benetton, yeah, Connacht hosting the Bulls, and Dragons hosting Cardiff. So yeah,
The Connacht Bulls game. It could be an absolute stormer. That could be a cracking game. Both sides need to win it in Galway, in windy Galway, because it's meant to be fairly bloody windy Friday night.
I'm calling the
Uh,
Bulls to win that one.
Edinburgh Treviso could be interesting. Edinburgh will find a way to lose it, and Dragons Cardiff is a done deal. I mean, Cardiff are going to win that game by at least 20 points.
yeah.
But that Connacht Bulls game is going to be a cracker.
And then two of the lower teams, being the Lions and Scarlets in Ellis Park. I think the Lions will be happy that they're back home right now. They definitely need to get some
Yeah.
traction going if they want to be taken seriously.
Both sides need to win that with a bonus points.
That was going to be my next
Whoever
point.
wins it needs a bonus point.
That was going to be my next point. Scarlets are going to want to come back after that loss against the Stormers, and they're going to want to prove themselves. So yeah. Then of course Ulster is here in South Africa to come and take on the Sharks at the Shark Tank with, it sounds like the full strength team is back, and I'm talking about the likes of Sia and Etzebeth and so on. Sharks are also going to want to, yeah, but Sharks are going to want to step up and put their hands up now. I do think it is going to be a bit tough for Ulster, but we're going to have to wait and see. I did ask AI for some predictions, which I'll show up next, and we can say whether or not we agree with them. Your team is going to Croke Park to be hosted by Leinster.
The rocky road to Dublin. I'm going up myself on Saturday, and yeah,
Well,
no comment.
you'll be surprised. You'll actually be quite surprised. I was surprised with the prediction that came out from AI. Then we got Zebra hosting the Stormers, who are on a rampant storm right now, and I really hope the storm doesn't die down while we're on the road. Yeah, going up against
The sun
Zebra.
always comes out after the storm. The sun always comes out after the storm.
Yes. You'll. Let's just say I'll take what AI says, and then of course Ospreys hosting Glasgow. Yeah,
That could be a good game. That could be a good game as well, actually.
it is going to be a good game. So this is what I asked ChatGPT for the scores. Dragons Cardiff 1927. I think that's going to be a little bit more harsh than what.
I think Cardiff win that.
Cardiff,
yeah,
Cardiff by at least 20.
Yeah. Connacht Bulls, that looks like a decent score, and I think that would most likely be the most likely outcome of the.
I had the Bulls in my mind. I had the Bulls by 2.
Yeah, I can't see no reaction to the Bulls game last week. Bulls by 3.
And then of course Edinburgh Benetton. Edinburgh, like you said, could lose it, but this one's gone in favor of Edinburgh as being the home team.
Benetton on a bit of a
Lions.
roll. I think Benetton by 3.
I think Edinburgh by 10.
Yeah. The Lions Scarlet is the one that really surprised me. Well, one of the ones that surprised me
Well,
being
I
30.
don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish, but I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot closer, if anything.
It's
I think
very,
Scarlet.
it's
I
a
think the
very hard
Scarlets
game.
win it. I think the Scarlets win
To
it.
be honest, yeah, I think it's a very hard game to predict because two of them are woefully out of form. I think
Yeah.
altitude might just save the Lions. I think the Lions by 3.
Yeah. Sharks Ulster. Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. It is something I could see going down with the current status of the Sharks.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I don't want to though, because yeah, it's a Sharks
yeah,
narrative.
like I said, you'll be surprised with what I said, Leinster Munster. I mean, that looks like it would be a great game. Unfortunately, it would be another one
I
point
cannot
difference.
do. I cannot do with that level of heartbreak. I'd rather lose by 15 or 20 than lose by 1. Think Leinster by 10 personally, but I cannot do going up to Dublin and losing by 1. I've done it enough over the years.
So
Just
Yeah,
I again,
I'm, I'm, I'm gonna
I'd
I'm
rather
gonna I'm
lose
gonna
by
make a
20.
bold one here. I'm gonna say Munster by 8.
If that's true, you'll see me on the train back with no top on and
Munster
drinking
by 8.
alcohol out of
Munster by 8.
everything possible.
I will make you
that'll
make me a
be.
deal. Make me a deal. You send me a video when Munster win by 8. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no matter.
It'll be on the group. Uh, just remember, we can't bail you out. We're in different countries. But anyway, Ospreys Glasgow. It says Ospreys are going down to Glasgow.
I agree with that, but I think
Yeah,
Glasgow win it by more.
I
Uh,
kind of agree with that point. Uh, but
I,
we'll have
I,
to see.
I, I agree with AI. To be honest, I think it'll be a close game. Glasgow and Nicholas.
And then, of course, Stormers storming their way over the Zebras, 38-14.
Yeah,
I think that is a very
yeah,
I
likely
think I think
scenario.
that's quite reasonable actually.
Yeah.
yeah. That's quite accurate.
But now you're saying that these are the top try scorers right now in the whole thing. I mean, as you can see, there's only one from Munster. There's two from the Stormers. Uh, One's from Ospreys. One from two from Cardiff. Sorry, one from Glasgow, and Leinach, the only one from Benetton, the only one in the Italian teams up at 5. I mean, Rose is close behind
Tom
with 4.
Bowen as well. Yeah.
So, I
I
mean,
mean, yeah. I mean, Tom Bowen who scored 5 tries. He didn't even play in round 1. So
yeah, that's two.
a hat
But
trick
yes,
against Munster and 2 tries at the weekend. So
yeah, I
there it is.
mean, it looks still pretty close with that. I mean, that's why I agree with some of the predictions that came out. But some sad news has come out. Dion Faree literally came on for 6 minutes and went off injured. Apparently, there was tears in the changing room. Serious injury to his bicep that will require surgery, and he'll go home. Of course, it was an emotional changing room in that regards. But as much as the win was pleasing, it's also shows how tight the team is right now. That they were also upset with Dion. Though that being said, as well, the light at the end of the tunnel for the Stormers is Paul de Villiers right now, who is a beast this season as well.
Oh yeah, he's been class.
He's
He's
been
been
awesome.
class.
Yeah, he's been awesome.
And I mean, yeah, he was one of the SA under past 4 SA under 20 captains as well. So I mean, the fact that he can do leadership as well, I think he's really putting up his hand. It is a great thing to see from him. I think also the senior players that he has around him as well is also great to see. That being said, as well, this week we got Galant back, which means, like I said earlier, You could see those funny passes coming back because Galan's back in the team, and Marat is also apparently in the mix for starting this weekend in lock, which yeah, uh, we'll have to see because I mean that the current setup of that forward pack is so hardcore and awesome. I think trying to get into that team is going to be hard. But yeah, and then like I said earlier, Rugby 365 yesterday was reporting on the fact that it's been just over a year since the Lions last won a game. They started last season off with a bang that I even said I still think if they carry on this way, they could win it. And then they just went downhill after that.
Yeah, a whole year without winning back-to-back
Yeah,
games is
that's harsh.
shocking.
Yeah. And I mean, as it says there, yet Ivan van Rooyen keeps spinning the same excuses, mental breakdown or just being bullied. You can't really be saying that in a professional era in such a big
Yeah, but if you keep getting bullied, you have to do something about it. Like you can't just sit there and go, ah, well, they have a bigger pack than us. What can I do? You can't do that. I mean, even using the example of Munster I mean, I'd argue we got bullied up front and we still won the game. I don't know how we won the game. We won the game. You have to find a way. If you're getting bullied, you have to find other ways of doing it.
no,
The way our
agreed.
rugby works.
But I mean, we were discussing it last week, myself and Tim. Uh, yes, okay, the Bulls have like 20 Springboks, the Sharks and Stormers are 15 and 3. Like, yes, okay, cool. If you have 20 Springboks, yes, you kind of expecting to win the games. But if you are trying to build up a team and you're not getting anything, and the supporters are complaining to the management, not so much towards Ivan, but just the management, the fact that there's mismanagement all over the place and they're not able to get anything. The fact that that man that was in the picture, Kewan Horn, could be going across the Yiske River to go play for the Bulls next season is a real concern that you're not even able to retain players. Yes, they got Angelo Davids, who I think right now, honestly, if I was Davids, I'd be regretting my decision to leave the Stormers and go play for the Lions right now.
Yeah, but I mean, they have good players. I mean, it's not just Quan Horn. They have JC Pretorius. They have Morne van den Berg. Whenever he turns up and wants to play, he's a great player.
I think he's back this
They've got
week.
some very quick backs. Yeah, they've got some quick backs. So, I mean, they have got a good enough side. Okay, they've not got a good enough side to the point where they're going winning things. That's a bit ridiculous. They've got a good enough side to go into the top eight. When you look at the team last year, the Scarlets finished in eighth last year. Do the Lions have a better side than the Scarlets? I'd say yes. It's definitely up for debate. They can definitely finish in the top eight with the side they have. As you said, and as Tim said, it's embarrassing to not win back-to-back games in a whole year, a whole calendar year is embarrassing.
Yeah.
That needs
Yeah.
to be sorted, especially when the Lions have such an advantage when European teams go down to play them and they have the altitude advantage, and it is an advantage. It's an excuse, but it's an advantage. And you can't, they've definitely had games where they've had two successive weeks at home games against European sides, and that means they've been losing at home to European sides that aren't used to the advantage that the Lions have. And that's even more embarrassing for my mind.
Yeah. So it is back-to-back games, but I mean, it's like being a United supporter. They can't even string more than one win together. But I mean, yeah, I, I think it is about time that they need to look and not so much change everything up, but like restructure their mindset. Tim has mentioned it on multiple occasions. Winning is a mindset, it is a decision, but so is losing. And it's like, okay, cool, we have one good game, we win, yeah. And then next game, we'll see what happens. Oh, we get bullied. Oh, it was a mental breakdown. You're playing professional rugby. You can't do that.
Yeah, but I mean, some of these guys, especially some of the guys in the Lions back row and some of them in the front row, are trying to fight for Springbok places. And you're never going to get in the South African side as a forward if you're getting bullied every week and your coach is coming out and saying, oh, but they've got a bigger pack, they've got a heavier pack. I mean, if you want to play for any tier one team, especially South Africa, that just doesn't rock. That just doesn't work in South
Just,
Africa.
I
You
don't
don't get to
understand that.
play for the Springboks.
To use the excuse that we're getting bullied. I mean, we're South African side in the heartland of freaking, Joburg's in the heartland of rugby. So like, if you look at it, there's so many clubs around, there's so many good players around, there's so many monsters around. If you are getting bullied, go and send your scout to the first division club games and go and find a big, strong, hard running, ball fetching, whatever you're looking for, go and scout them. There are enough quality rugby players in South Africa to push definitely 50 to 75% of these people out of their jobs at the Lions at the moment, just on form alone.
But even
So
the lower teams in the Currie Cup.
No, but we are so gifted. We are so gifted when it comes to rugby players. We have so many. In fact, we have so many that we are giving them to other countries like Scotland, right?
And Ireland.
No, yeah, not so many, not so many at Ireland. But you know what I'm saying? We actually have so many quality rugby players that they are scattered all around the world, and the Lions are crying about getting bullied. That's a pathetic excuse. That's a loser mentality, and quite frankly, find a coach who's going to look at solutions and not problems, because that's a loser mentality. When a coach starts blaming, "Oh, I'm getting bullied," fix it.
But now, saying that, I read I was just following up on an article that I saw, one of these clickbait articles. Henneke Meyer's contract in the Major League Rugby team that he's in is coming up to the ending this year, in 2025. Could we see Henneke coming back and going to the Lions? Sending him
Personally, I hope not.
Okay.
But what I'll say is, as Tim's talked about the loser mentality, the main side in the European hemisphere that had that, Glasgow had that for about 3 seasons. But just before the South African side joined, the first year after you joined, it was Glasgow had that mentality of, oh, we've a weaker pack. What can we do? Brought in Franco Smith, everything flipped. That's maybe what you need, an outsider.
I think so, yeah. I do think so. I mean, if he's blaming getting bullied, it's just such a bad excuse considering what is surrounding him and the options he has.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, okay, cool. Yeah.
Sorry, Curbs, about Heineken. For me, like, I don't know, the last World Cup that he was involved with, it was, for me, terrible to watch. The style of rugby was poor. Yes, we came third, but we were just poor all around. I thought we were lucky.
Yeah, America to Brighton.
Huh?
Listen, we got Justice coming at Wembley later on. In fact, 3 weeks. So it's fine. Jean de Villiers still says that they go like, what's the one thing you can say about your rugby career? He's like the first captain to lose to Japan. But anyway,
Yeah,
and I know
it wasn't just the Japan game. It was the style of play. It was the fact that, there was no integration of color in his time. If you looked at the team, it was basically completely white. There was no change under him, and I thought he was very sort of prehistoric with his coaching style, and he was very, I don't know, kick and more sort of vibe.
Plus, I think if you had a Rassie Erasmus, you'd have beaten that New Zealand side in the semi-final. Because I've watched the game back since, and that New Zealand,
It was
for
a
as good
good
as they were,
side you had. We had a good side.
obviously that New Zealand side probably the best side ever, but they did not perform on that day. They were not, the side that played in the final, the side that played in the quarterfinal. If Rassie Erasmus was South coach, I still think they'd win that game.
I still caught it at that game against Samoa when I saw Jean de Villiers break his jaw. I was like, that's South Africa done. Thank you very much. And everyone was like, how can you say that? I was like, you're going to see the wind's going to be out the sails now. There's not going to be any like Vuma because, of course, a lot of the guys were retiring after that World Cup. And unfortunately, we lost against what you call it. Obviously, had a bit of a wake up and went and beat Argentina in the third place and everything. But yeah, that, yeah. And especially after 2011, I would have thought you would have wanted to come back with a lot more to prove that 2011 was definitely due to unfair circumstances. But yeah. But yeah, I've actually got a question for you guys this week. What is your pre-watching ritual? Like, do you have any superstitions that you guys do before you watch a game?
Before a Munster game, yes, I do have certain superstitions. One of my superstitions, I carry it in every sport, I do not listen to any song related to the club that's playing on that day. So if there's something comes up on my Spotify playlist and it's related to Munster, I will skip it immediately that day. That's just, I don't know why I have that superstition, but I have it. I can't listen to any song related to Munster or Tottenham or whoever on the day of a game because I just can't. It's just
I'm
weird
just
superstition.
send you Munster songs all Saturday. I'm
not gonna listen to one of them. Not gonna listen to one of them.
I'm just gonna fill your phone up with Munster songs. Just gonna tag you and send you.
Not gonna listen
He's gonna
to one
tag
of
it
them.
as like Inkosi Sikaleli and all that kind of stuff. And then
I'm gonna send you voice notes. I'm gonna freaking.
And you, Tim, what is yours?
Before the Stormers game.
Yeah, Stormers, even if it's Springboks.
Well, Springboks is different. I'm the exact opposite. I'll play my Afrikaans Springbok songs before the game. But for the Stormers, I actually play VP Yoleka Dung. Yeah, funny enough.
Yeah, I mean, mine is I will be very specific. I have a specific pair of underwear I will wear.
No.
Oh no!
No, don't worry.
That's
Don't
disgusting.
Good.
Jesus.
Good.
And then it's always the shirts
nasty.
of the team. No, don't worry. They're very good
That's
and
fair
stuff
enough.
like that. The shirts of the teams, and then I have 2 necklaces, and then I must wear a specific ring as well, and a specific bracelet.
He turns out like Del Boy Trotter every time the Stormers go to play a home match.
Does that make you Rodney or what?
But yeah, I have a specific that there we go. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I want to thank my 2 fellow hosts here, Dara and Tim. Thank you guys very much, guys. Please remember, guys, like, share, subscribe. Yes, I do listen to your comments. Like the one person said, we played against Japan a few times since the World Cup game. Yes, I play against them in Japan since 2015. And yeah, guys, thanks very much. Fellow champions, be well, go, be safe. Cheers.